If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life. So what do I really think about the Washburn Sonamaster guitar? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, man. In today's video, I want to give you my final thoughts about the Washburn Sonamaster guitar. Yeah, man, this guitar came in the Washburn Take the Stage pack that I bought for $149 from Marmalade USA. And in that pack was not only a guitar, but lots of goodies, amp and strap and strings and tuner and string winder and all the things that you need to get started if this would be your first guitar. So if you play the home game, what you know is that this guitar came with several dings and dents on the body of the guitar, which afforded me a $50 refund from the good folks at Marmalade. I decided to keep the guitar and do what I do. I love to buy a sub $200 guitar, put a few parts in it, and turn it into a rock and roll machine. And that, my friends, is what we have done. If you're interested in everything I did to this guitar and even how I did it, you can check the playlist in the description below and follow this journey from beginning to end. So yeah, so this guitar is okay out of the box. If I was just starting to play guitar and I needed an electric guitar and I needed an amp and strings and strap and all the accessories that go along with being a guitar player, I might take the plunge for $149. As for me, what I really wanted was the guitar. I'd been seeing these guitars on sale for $249 by themselves, so to get this guitar in a pack was kind of staggering, really. I checked the specs and they all lined up on the Washburn website between this guitar and the $249 guitar. Now, some people have said that maybe what they're doing is they're putting B-stock guitars, i.e. the dents on the back of this guitar, and there were some imperfections on the neck as well. And that could be true. Maybe the packs are filled with B-stock guitars. I don't really know. These, at the end of the day, came down to cosmetic issues for me. None of the problems, quote unquote, with this guitar affected the playability after some tender love and care. Now, anybody who's ever bought a $200 guitar or even more expensive guitars than that knows that every guitar needs a good setup. And every guitar may require just a little bit of work to get it up to your player preferences. Well, that's what I've done. Let me give you a quick overview of what I did to the guitar, and then we'll talk about the playability of the guitar. So at the headstock, we'll start up here. I swapped out the metal string trees for these roller string guides. I put on Safeu, I can never say that, locking tuners on this guitar. Those are the tuners that I've been buying lately. I did swap out the nut. I had a bone nut from one of my Tease guitars that I blacked out, so I put a black nut, so I've borrowed it for this particular guitar. I put a $45 loaded pick guard in this guitar, and I also installed a pure tone output jack. All of my upgrades and the price of this guitar comes out to somewhere around $235. If you're thinking that $235 for this guitar may be a bit much, well, you may be right. But again, keep in mind that not only did I get the guitar, I also got all the accessories that a beginning guitar player would need. So in terms of work, the guitar played out of the box and it sounded okay. The stock pickups, the neck and the middle were okay. The bridge was just, well, I didn't like it. Let's say that. The neck on the guitar, the frets needed some work. There was a lot of kind of rough fret edges. At least they were not comfortable to me, so I've taken care of that. I did not find one unlevel fret on this guitar. So all I had to do with the frets was to polish them, clean and condition the fingerboard, and the neck was good to go. I did run a little bit of 2000 grit sandpaper and I treated that with Howard Feed and Wax. That's just what I do with guitar necks. Hey, you do you. And if you hang on the channel, what you know, hey, oh, by the way, if it's your first time hanging out with us, welcome. Come back anytime and hang out at Ted Talks Guitars and Life. But if you hang on the channel, what you know is that I have a love-hate relationship with drilling holes in a guitar body. This loaded pickguard did require me to drill some new holes on the front for the pickguard and on the back even for the trem cover, and that was really no problem. We found some cool things under the hood, and I won't get into all that. I'm trying to keep this brief. And I want to really focus on the playability. Now again, the key distinction is I'm talking about playability after I did a lot of work to this guitar. And after I did a lot of work to this guitar, I think the guitar plays great. What was an okay guitar out of the box is now a fine playing guitar. I like playing this guitar. Let me tell you a couple of reasons why. One, this guitar weighs in at 7.4 pounds. Now that could be because they use what's called okame wood for the body, and this body is just a bit thinner and just a bit thinner width-wise than a full-size Strat. So if you're looking for a full-size Strat equivalent, this guitar will not fit that bill in terms of the body thickness. So if you want that 9-pound kind of Strat, 2-inch thick body, give or take, and you want something that has a more pronounced arm contour here, this has an arm contour, but it is more down on this end of the guitar, and it's not as wide of a contour as would be on a typical Strat body, at least the ones I've always had. It does have a nice belly curve, tummy cut in the back, kind of a contour there, but it's not a full-size body Strat. So if you're looking for a full-size body Strat, you might want to go over to Tease and check out their ST1s. Those are full-size body Strats. They run right around $149 just for the guitar though. Okay, so remember, it depends on whether or not you're buying a guitar or you're buying all the accessories that you need to begin your guitar journey. But the ST1 is a solid guitar. I have several guys who hang on the channel have some of those, and we all like them pretty well. But you do you and get what you want. This guitar is light. It is comfortable to play now that I've done the fretwork to it. The neck on this is kind of a C-shaped, maybe just a little thicker than a modern C, at least to my old rock and roll hands. But it does feel good to play. I don't have any trouble getting up and down the neck and getting around on it. I think it plays just fine. The pickups that came in the Lam Sam loaded pickguard, these are Alnico 5. I think they sound pretty good. I'll let you be the judge of that. This also has a 5-way blade switch or a wafer switch. It has 3 full-size pots and an orange cap capacitor, and I think that color scheme is smoking hot, man. What do you guys think? It had a perloid on it in the beginning, but I kind of like that kind of creamy goodness, man. I think it really brings out the color pretty well. So yeah, the neck feels good. It's comfortable to play. I've put some upgrades into it. I did my thing to it. And I think all in all, it's a great guitar now that I've done all that work. Now I do have some cosmetic things, and those of you hanging on the channel, you can see those vids will be posted as I work on things. But I do want to get rid of the beak on the corner of this headstock. I don't like that. The astute viewer can tell a pencil line where I have created where I'm going to want to be sawing and sanding to get that beak off of there. I may or may not leave Washburn on. I'm not going to pretend it's a Fender or anything like that. I just don't know that I like that. Some guys that hang on the channel have been encouraging me to get my own logo for guitars. Well, we'll see about that. I did, by the way, bore out a little bit the truss rod hole here. The design, the truss rod was really grinding into the wood of the headstock, even with the L1 that came with it. And so I went ahead and took some sandpaper tip on a Dremel and dremeled that out some and threw some True Oil in there. So I got that rocking and rolling. I've taken off the QC sticker, which, you know, dents and all that. I don't know how it passed QC. And also the kind of this piece of tape with a serial number on it. That was kind of a weird thing to see as well. But it is, like I said, man, I think it's a great sounding guitar right now. I do have some more tweaking to do. The more I play the guitar, the more I hear things. I'm going to want to revisit the nut slots, maybe file those down just a little bit more to my player preference. I've got the action about where I like it. I tend to play a little bit heavier and thumpier than some people play, and so I need my action to be a little bit higher maybe than you need yours. Hey, you do you, man. Everything with guitar playing is player preference. So you set your gear up however you want to set your gear up. Don't let anybody rent any space in your head, man, about a brand that you need or the setup you need or the parts that you need. If it sounds good to your ears, if it feels good in your hands, and if when you see it you want to say, man, we need to hang out, let me holla at you, man, that's a good guitar. Hey, J-Man just did a great video about budget guitars. Check his channel out if you don't, anyway, just for some great content overall. But I think at the end of the day, for me, if I knew everything about this guitar that you know, before I purchased it, if I knew that I was going to have to do fret work, which it's a sub $200 guitar, I sort of assumed that. I've done fret work on $500 guitars, so please don't think budget is garbage. Budget doesn't mean garbage. I've had to do fret work on much more expensive guitars. I've had to actually level frets on much more expensive guitars. You always have to polish clean and polish the frets. You always have to clean and condition fingerboards. That's just stuff you do with guitars, guys. There's nothing wrong with having to do that. Now, if I knew, though, that it would come and it would have the dents in it, and if I knew that I'd have to do the work, I don't know that that would have deterred me at all. I kind of assumed those things. But had I known that with a little bit of love, man, I could get it to really be a rocker, I'd have bought it again for sure. I don't know, though. For you, man, you're going to have to make your own decisions and do with your money what you wish. But if you're in the market for a beginning starter pack, and key caveat, guys, you know how to do some fret work on the, I'm talking about the edges again. There were no high frets. Now, that's not to say your guitar won't have high frets. I'm just saying this one didn't have high frets. So if you know how to do a little bit of work on guitars, or if you want to buy a guitar just to learn how to do some work on it, this might be a good way to go. She's light, she looks cool, I think she sounds pretty good. Well, man, I'm going to hook you up with some sound samples here in just a minute. I'd love for you to take just a couple seconds and put in the comments what you hear as I cycle through the playing. Here's the thing, guys. Nobody comes to TED Talks Guitars in Life to hear me play guitar. I talk about guitars. So the playing will not be perfect. I don't edit out huge mistakes. I only edit just for time, to be sensitive. I know that you've taken time today to hang out, and I appreciate your time, so I want to be as brief and succinct as I can. But I did cycle through all of the pickups and all of the settings. I did go just straight from the amp, and then I went through my pedal board, compression and delay and reverb. I did some boost pedal. I did a tube screamer every now and again, and you'll hear that in the vid. You'll hear plenty of mistakes, and you'll hear plenty of little weirdness as I play. Most of that is just my old Fred Flintstone fingers doing what they do, or what they can't do any longer. Well, guys, that's it for me, man. Sonamaster, is it worth it? Man, I think so for $149. Again, if you know how to take care of it and how to treat the guitar. And you may not have to spend as much as I've spent. You don't have to use locking tuners. Those old metal string trees might work for you, man. Maybe you can rock that plastic nut that was in it. Maybe you don't care about a pure tone output jack as much as I do. Maybe you could have found a cheaper pickup to put in. That's if you even thought it needed one. You might get the guitar and think those pickups sound a-okay to you. Hey, you do you, man. That's what I say. Well, friends, there ain't nothing left to do now except check out some tones. Well, as always, wherever you are in your guitar journey, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Rock on with your bad selves, everybody. We'll catch you down the road.